Hello, everyone. My name is Slappy Burger, and welcome to more of a strange part in our series today. Um, I'm going to consider this part episode 22 and a half because this isn't really an episode that we're doing anything, like building or breaking the game like we do occasionally. We're just doing a world tour today, and we're going to be recapping what we've done. And the reason I'm doing that is because, well, I think I'm ready to update the game. And I kind of want to just go over everything that we've done in this world and kind of look at it just to, see where we've gone. Now, we haven't done a ton in this world. Maybe we've done more than most people have in their worlds, or maybe we've probably done less than most people have done in their worlds. But um, every one of these episodes, it's like almost an hour long at this point or over. And we're 22 parts in. But yeah, we're going to do a recap. And after this, we're saying goodbye to beta 1.7.3. Crazy that we're doing that. We're finally updating. I did have someone ask me at some point if I do plan on updating. I do indeed. I've said it multiple times, and I think I'm ready to. So, starting out, we are here on our spawn island. Now, obviously, the world didn't spawn like this. These chests here did, actually. But a lot of this stuff, like this stuff and all these pistons, which we'll talk about in a second, did not come with the world. We actually started this world back in beta 1.6 test build 3. And what a weird version that is. It was a debug version created by Notch to test all of the items in the game. That were in the game at the time, I should say. These chests are loaded up with all sorts of funky items that you can't normally get, at least in this version. So, like, portal blocks, can't get those. Lava and water source blocks, can't get those. Grass, can't get this yet. Definitely can't get bedrock. You can't get coal ore. These are like redstone repeaters. You can't get these. At least in this fashion, you can't get them. Lapis ore, can't get that. Can't get leaves. Sponges don't have any use, but they are in the game. These are half beds. Grass, can't get those. Can't get cobwebs. Can't get double stack slabs. It just keeps getting weirder. Spawners, tilled dirt, the crops that you plant, half doors, signs, but they're like in a set state. Redstone dust, not as like the actual redstone dust that you normally get from mining, but this weird white powder here. Just all sorts of weird items that came with these chests. And that's the only reason why I really started in beta 1.6 test build 3 was because I kind of wanted these chests. I did plan on updating through these versions and kind of exploring some of the weird things that were in them as we went. And this was just the first thing we did. Have not used any of the items in these chests. If I go through every single one here, you'll notice that they're all 64. Every single thing is all 64. So I've never really touched these except for looking at what's inside of them. Just mostly some interesting stuff. Some of them aren't too crazy. Like all these chests over here are items you can normally get except for the chainmail. But yeah, that's where we started. We started in beta 1.6 test build 3, and we've updated to beta 1.7.3, and this is where we've been since the second episode of the series. So 20 episodes in on this version. Moving over here real quick, we have this doesn't look like much, but this is a pretty important item. This is a transmutation machine. So if I place these two slabs here like this and then place a redstone torch on it, it becomes a full solid block like this. And then it drops these half slabs. Now, those half slabs are not normal half slabs. They are nicknamed crash slabs. And that's because if I hover over those, I will crash my game. Unless I'm hovering over them with another item. But if I hover over them with just my mouse, it will crash my game. And I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to have to reopen Minecraft and all of that. In the same episode we did this, we also started messing with pistons. And these are all pistons that you can't normally obtain, obviously. In beta 1.7.3 and probably some other beta versions as well, maybe even into full release, you're able to set up pistons in certain configurations and push them and activate them at right times, and they'll create these weird pistons. Now, there are video tutorials online on how you can do these, and that's what I did. If you go back and find that episode with it, I actually do link the channel for these in the description. So if that is something that you want to do, just go through the playlist that this will be in and find the pistons episode, and you'll be able to make these yourself in beta if you want to. Not sure if these are going to stick around for too long. Some things disappear and some things get added as the versions go up. I know a lot of people like to use these in building to kind of, there's not much of a color or a block palette in this version, so people will like to use these as blocks. I never did, but I know some people do, so maybe if it's something you're interested in, then definitely check this stuff out, because I could definitely see myself using a table with this. But it just some kind of cool stuff. Now, as we make our way over here, we're going to start coming towards where we've mainly been working. We have done some episodes kind of out there. There was one episode where I didn't really know what to do, so I kind of just walked around a bit and kind of just talked. And then there was also an episode where I did some mining kind of far off. I want to say the second or third episode was a mining episode in a cave that's now sealed off over here. But this tree right here, I want to point out this tree real quick, because this technically is the first tree that I ever punched down, but I replanted it. And it did happen to regrow back into the exact same size tree that was here at first. So yeah, that's really cool. This is the first tree I ever punched down, and it grew back into basically the same tree that I originally chopped down. So in the first episode, you see me come across the island. I was talking about Minecraft at work, and we were getting nostalgic, and I went to Guitar Center, got a mic stand, and now we're doing this. And before we talk about this, let's just sleep real quick. I don't want to be bothered by the nighttime. But you definitely already saw it. This is the main compound. At least this is where most of the action kind of takes place, is around here. Starting off, we have our first house here. The bed is gone now. There originally was a bed, and I think a chest was right here. But yeah, this was the first thing we built in the world, was this house right here. And because I'm pretty sentimental about that stuff, I don't really want to tear this down. I know it's kind of ugly. It's just a little dirt or a little wooden box in the middle of everything. But I kind of feel like we need to remember where we came. So this is going to stay here forever. And then these pumpkins here, I want to say I put these down in the first episode as well. They've just been kind of here the whole time. And I don't think I'm going to move them either, just because they're here. So, yep, that's where they're going to stay. Redirecting our focus here on the house. This is where, this was our first proper house. I want to say that was episode 3 or 4 that we built this. I don't really use this house all that much anymore. We have our dog Lucky here, who I happened to find back over behind this hill. And on the way home, he kept trying to jump off of cliffs and stuff. So when I asked the comments what I should name the dog, we named him, I chose Lucky because someone was like, well, he's lucky he survived. So yeah, that's Lucky. He's our loving companion here. And for him, he's going to stay. I probably will tame other dogs in the future. But this is Lucky. He's the OG. So he gets his own thing. Lots of furnaces and chests in here, the 3 beds. Originally, this was my chest for special items, quote unquote. By special items, I mean my first diamond, the first tools of every type I make. We have our chest room down here. This was the last addition to the house that I ended up making, was this chest room storage cellar thing down here. The only chests I still use down here are the miscellaneous chests. Mostly just filled up with mob drops, and then just various other things that I don't really have a place for in my current storage room. I really need to expand it. Probably will here eventually, but yep, just various items in here. All these other chests are completely empty, nothing in them. But I did have it pretty well organized. But I much prefer my new, more organized place that I'm doing now. A lot more convenient. And now that we're coming out of here, we'll talk about the tower here. So this is a wheat farm, and I also don't use this very much. There's not really much to be said about this. It's pretty much a just kind of a tower wheat farm thing going on here. Each one of these like levels has underneath the dirt has fences on it. And the reason why there's fences are in here is because in these versions, things can trample crops if they walk over them. So me just walking over crops can trample them. But if you listen really closely, you can hear it sounds like I'm walking on wood. And that is actually what's preventing me from trampling these crops. And that's the only reason I put those fences in there, was so that I could freely walk around in here without trampling the crops. Works with other mobs too. So if you're ever playing beta, that's a nice little life hack for you. Just to, you know, make your life easier if you are trying to farm. When we originally made this thing, I wanted to make it entirely out of oak logs and glass. But what ended up happening, if you watch that video, is that it was quite possibly the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life when I built it. And so I swapped it out. So I made some layering with the wood here, added some cobblestone in on the ceilings, and then of course the glowstone in there, which helps keep the thing lit up and make sure it's you know, has enough light to actually grow stuff. And then also it has a little bit of a pattern, so it kind of looks nice. And by no means am I an expert builder, so this didn't take it took a while to make, but it didn't take much thought to make, I guess is probably what I should say. Coming over here, we actually dedicated an entire episode to kind of decorating this area. We made this fountain in that episode. We made some paths, planted all these trees and all these flowers around, made this little pond here, and, you know, added some sugar cane with the, I still think I really did awesome with the mushroom on top of the birch log there. I've loved that so much. It's such a nice little detail, but I love it. Of course, we have a pumpkin patch too. If you do go back to like the first episode of this series, and kind of watch how this world is transformed, you would know that this whole area over here was pretty much covered in just like sand. And once we get over there as well and start talking about the village and stuff, there was a lot of sand over there as well. Just a lot of sand everywhere. And I took the time to get dirt and, you know, place it all and kind of just, you know, clear this area out. Now, if I find the right spot, there's, yep, see, still holes and stuff in the ground here. And it looks like I might have just trapped myself down here trying to show you guys that. Because I don't actually have anything in my inventory, but yeah, there's a lot of like holes and like little sand pits under here that are just full of torches. Just kind of out, just kind of around. Sometimes we hear cave noises from some unlit areas. But yeah. And over here, this is the mine that I have been using for the longest time. These things sprawl pretty far. I'm not going to show them off too much, but they do go pretty far out. This is generally where most of my mining happens. I just have a chest just full of cobblestone down here. But yeah, there was a lava pool here. I pretty much dug it out. There was a lot of dirt here too. I've been stealing dirt from down in this mine as well to replace a lot of the sand that I've been doing. But yeah, I mean, if we look down there, it goes really far that way. And then there's also some mines that shoot off this way as well. Like there's one right here, actually. This one doesn't go too far, but there's a lot of mines that way that just go in that direction with the same kind of 2x2 pattern. A lot of the lava that I use in the main base that I'm going to show off here in a second came from this little pit right here. It took me like 45 minutes to do that, but we'll show it off when we get there. There's one more thing we're going to show, or a couple more things we're going to show over on this side before we start talking about what's on the village side of things. Now that we're coming up here, we will have, just to our right, we'll have the mob grinder. Now this thing actually works really well. It's based off of Ethos Labs design, and I did dedicate a whole episode to this one. I've done a bit more decorating with it. Need to kind of replace these walls here, this stone stuff with like other blocks. But the way it works is there's a big underground like sort of just stone area down there with all sorts of spawning pads and water currents that push the mobs up into a tall little like shaft here that's just full of water, and they slowly float up, make their way up into here, get pushed into this, come down here where I can then activate this lever and it will crush them. And I can demonstrate it. So if we turn on from game mode here, and I think there's squids in there. Are those squids? Those are squids. Hopefully they don't clog it, but as you can see, if we kind of stand here for a second, you'll probably notice a lot of name tags popping up. Those are mostly hostile mobs. There's a lot over there, and they'll kind of get funneled up into this system here. You can already see it looks like some might be trying to get in, unless those are the squids blocking everything. That'd be really inconvenient if squids are just going to block everything right as we get in here, but it looks like they are probably stuck. I don't think I've ever had squids get in the thing. Nope, they're coming up. They're coming up. But yeah, this thing works really well. Every single one of those name tags is a mob down there. That's another little thing about beta 1.7.3 is that you can use F3 to see where mobs are. But yeah, this thing really puts out. It makes more hostile mob drops than I know what to do with. Unfortunately, it won't work for Endermen or anything, but it does work. So, yeah, it's a really cool thing here. Let's see if we can't get this thing to kind of fill up, and so we can get all of them. Just let them kind of funnel up in here. It's about to get really loud with all the mob noises. Oh yeah. Very, very nice. You know what? Let's just go with what we have here. We can just prepare your eardrums, but there's one up top. Get out of there. When they do die, all their items drop right there. Just kind of kill these guys normally. But yeah, and then we can collect all the items right there. Pretty simple system, but it does work very, very well. I mean, look at all these bones, right? That was the biggest thing, were the bones and arrows that I wanted from it. But yep, really do like this mob farm. I will sit here, and I will be using it in the future as well. So when that time comes, we will be using that more. And let's go ahead and sleep again. There are still a couple more things we have to talk about on this side before we get to the village. I think the village is honestly probably one of the more less interesting aspects of the world. I am enjoying building it for sure. But I don't think it's as interesting as some of the other stuff. So coming up here, let's talk about this first. So this is basically my super base. Now, I haven't touched this thing in a while. And I was talking earlier about, you know, the lava down in the mine. This is the lava right here that I was talking about, was this. I just randomly had the idea to put like a lava decoration in there. And I did. And it took like 45 minutes to fill, walking back and forth, even with like 6 or 7 buckets. Coming down here, this was the first extension we made to it. We have our crafting station, which is a ton of furnaces. 4 by... I'm not sure how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 by 8. So that's what, 32 furnaces there. Then we have our 16 crafting tables as well. We have the main bedroom here. This was probably one of my favorite things to build in the world, just because I got very nostalgic from it. Like the jack-o'-lantern wall is kind of ugly. This serves no purpose whatsoever rather than just kind of being here. Bookshelf wall, creeper carpet. I used to build creeper carpets all the time when I was playing Minecraft growing up. Just so many creeper carpets. And I felt it would be cool to kind of mirror it on the ceiling with a glowstone pattern. And then, of course, as per usual, there is a secret room behind the painting, because if you see a big painting in Minecraft, you know you got to try and walk through it, right? If you're not hiding a room back there, you're just doing it wrong. But this chest here, this is my new, like, quote unquote special items chest. This is where all of the first tools of every kind have been put. So we have also my first diamond is in here, my first diamond. Even the tools that people don't think about as much, like hoes and shears, flint and steel, compasses, a bow. I made a diamond hoe. Never supposed to do that, at least in this version, you're not supposed to do that. But I did. And of course, the first diamond. The way I did this was I literally mined the diamond, put it in a furnace, and then mined the rest of them, and then took this diamond out of the furnace and put it into a different inventory slot. So it literally is the first diamond that I mined in this world. So just some cool stuff here. We still have yet to make like diamond armor and stuff, but yeah, that's all of the first items. And since we're in the base, we'll talk about some of the other stuff that's kind of in here, coming down this way. So first, on our left here, we have our automatic sugarcane farm. Not really automatic, we still have to activate the harvesting, and it still doesn't entirely get everything, but you know, you just step on the pistons and it pushes everything out of the way. And then I guess we still do have to collect some stuff from it, but yeah, you step on the pressure plates and pistons push everything out. And then we have this really kind of very tight cactus farm here that's just indoors. Originally these were kind of above where we are now, like kind of in this area up above. The chests that I would store this stuff in are actually still up there. And I still store my sugarcane and cactus in the chests up there. But I decided to move them underground just to free up some space. I don't know if I'm ever going to use that space that I freed up, but I definitely did. And if we come down this way, we have our big hallway here. We found this lava pool under here, so I decided to just build a glass bridge over it. And then as we're coming up down here, there's not too much this way. There are two bigger things right here. Starting out, we have our mushroom farm. Now, this thing, it takes a while to grow, but they do spread. And I'm thinking about putting slabs on this part just so it doesn't spread to there. But in beta, mushroom spread is infinite, so mushrooms will spread infinitely, which I will very quickly showcase here in a second. Yeah, we have our mushroom farm. Mushroom stew is definitely the most efficient food source in the game in this version. Nothing else has like anything on it. Bread and pork just do not count compared to mushroom stew. Definitely my go-to now. And to show off infinite mushroom spread, we have the mushroom cave that I made. Now, I did enjoy building this one as well. I kind of just wanted to build something underground, kind of a big, weird, kind of mushroom cave thing going on. And the mushrooms have pretty much overtaken the entire thing. Really crazy. But I did dedicate an episode to this one. I think it was called this is called the mushy room is what I ended up calling it. Just lots of mushrooms down here. Put some glowstone down here too, just to kind of make it look a little more magical, I guess. There is some clay down there too. Clay doesn't generate underground in this version, but there it is. Not too much to say about this room. This room is mostly just for decoration, and because I wanted to do something, and so I built this. And it's probably also another one of my more favorite builds. A lot of it was just blowing up this cave with TNT and kind of like spot adjusting things with my pickaxe. But most of this was blown up by TNT to make this this room here. So yeah, pretty cool room. Pretty cool thing I built. I really enjoy this room. Don't go in here much, but it is here and I do enjoy it. And then we'll come this way. So this way here is kind of a grand staircase of things. Nothing too special up here. But there is our big room that someone said looked like a theater room. And every time I'm in here, I really get that vibe. It looks like it should be brighter in here. Like it's definitely a normal light level, but it's like darker for some reason. Even with all this glowstone. Probably just one of those quirks of like beta Minecraft. And also there's just a lot of like visual effects that you see with all the repeating patterns from everything that are in here too. Just lots of weird things, kind of a trippy room. Then we have our really big window here that looks out over this area here. I definitely want to put some stuff out here. I just don't know what. I'm not sure what to put out here at all. So if people have suggestions, let me know. I kind of thought originally maybe making this kind of the industrial side of the base, but I don't really know if I want much of a quote unquote industrial side per se. I kind of want to just have stuff kind of spread around. But yeah, this is pretty much the mega base where it stands right now. I do plan on working on this more in the future, although I'm not entirely sure when or what I'm going to add to it. I mean, I do kind of have some ideas of what I'm going to add. I want to add a library. I want to add an enchanting room, you know, the basics. Maybe another bedroom. Why not? Maybe an aquarium. You know, I have ideas. It's just either one, we don't have access to the stuff to make that yet, or I just don't really want to do it yet. And part of the thing with this base is because it is all underground, I have to dig everything out and then build it. So it adds a lot of time to the process of making this stuff. And like I said earlier, we still have all of our sugarcane up here and all of our cactus up here in these chests. Now this right here is our nether portal. Duh. But I decided, I found this like naturally occurring like sort of cave that cut through the mountain here. And I wanted to put a nether portal. I kind of just decided to put the nether portal in here. Originally there were mushrooms in here, but I did end up breaking all of them because they would keep just spreading everywhere, man. And I would have to go clean them up after like, and every episode I'd have to come and clean these things up afterwards. They would just spread everywhere. And so I decided to just get rid of the mushrooms entirely. But I really enjoyed this episode as well. This is another one of those ones where I was very, very happy with how it turned out. Definitely nothing spectacular, but I think it has a charm to it, especially considering with beta Minecraft and how, you know, the netherrack looks like actual just like guts and blood and nasty, and Soul Sand's got this more, I think more evil faces than it does now. And we are going to hop into the nether portal to show something off, but before we do that, I'm going to talk about my least favorite build, and that is the creeper right here. Now, the creeper is the only build, I guess technically not the only build, but is one of two builds that I used a schematic for. And I used a schematic online to make this statue. Now, after I made this thing and I messed it up really bad, I kept saying throughout the videos, like, I mess up one block in this thing and I'll have to restart the whole thing. And sure enough, what ended up happening was I made this section right here too big, and I had to like tear down an entire like leg piece and the body. I had to start from scratch, and it ended up making the video take way, way longer to make. After that, I was like, no more schematics. But I ended up using the Ethos Lab schematic for the mob grinder, but I don't really know if that counts because it's not a build per se. It's more of a like, I guess, a farm than a build, but I guess you consider it a build. I don't know. I technically used a schematic for something else too, but besides those 2 builds, I've never used a schematic on this world. But yeah, I kind of want to point out to the generation here. Obviously, our house is, like, our super base is right there, and there's a window kind of up above there. You can't really see it. But originally, I thought the super base could go inside of this hill here, but I guess something just didn't, like, click in my head to realize that this mountain is actually super thin and that there's a big sort of opening right here. And I could have very easily just, you know, carved a tunnel through this, but I decided to instead put this creeper statue here. And I kind of thought about all sorts of things to put in there. I kind of thought about maybe a wizard tower, but I ended up settling on a creeper statue just because I feel like that's, you know, the creeper face, that's basically like half of Minecraft right there. Now, coming over here, you may have seen it earlier. We have this weird upside down U-shaped glass contraption. Now, this is a zombie spawner. Now, there's a zombie spawner right around under here in this hill somewhere. There it is, right there. Yeah, so there is a zombie spawner down here. I found this spawner on, like, episode 2, I want to say. I built the original farm, and I was like, I hear a lot of zombies down here. This could be a spawner. I turned on F3, saw a bunch of mobs, mined it out, and sure enough, it's a spawner. Now, I did intend to decorate this thing a little bit more than I did, but I never really got around to it. I just kind of didn't. I don't really use this thing at all. For me personally, if I'm going to get arrows, I would rather just use skeletons for them. You know, I'd rather just use the mob grinder that I showed off earlier. And I haven't really touched that one, but it is there. And I wanted to make it so that they would go up and then drop. And yeah, that's what this is. Not really much more to it than that. I guess maybe one day we'll decorate it. Maybe we won't. Another thing to add to the back burner of stuff that we're doing. And now that we're back over here, let's kind of show off the nether real quick. Now, there's only really 2 things I want to show in the nether. But one of them is more funny. The other one is more interesting. So let's see here. It's very rare that I go into the nether. If you ever watch any of my videos about the nether, you would know that I absolutely despise it. I hate the nether so much. Just despise it. But gas tunnel established, is that May? Yeah, May 7th, 2025. So in my episode of Coming to the Nether, I was basically underneath this area here mining glowstone, and I kept hearing a ghast like shooting at me. And so even when I was like completely surrounded by blocks, there was a ghast just shooting at me. I could not figure out where it was. And as I came up from the mine, I got up to right around, you know, right there. I was on top of the thing over here, trying to figure out where this gas was, where I saw a little sliver of light and a bunch of like white and a bunch of explosions coming out from over here. And somehow, some way, a gas had seen me through the walls and was trying to dig to me. And if you also look right here, you can see that it was just blowing up blocks here as well, trying to get to me. There's probably other places in here somewhere that I don't know where it was also shooting at me, but I don't know how it saw me through the blocks, but it did, and it was shooting at me. And when I finally figured it out, I thought it was so funny, I had to add this sign. I don't believe I did this on camera, but I did have to commemorate the gas for what it did. And I did end up killing the gas, but yeah, just a weird kind of occurrence there. Now, let's see if I remember how to get there. There is might be right here, actually, it looks like. Let's see. Yep, I think this is it. So, one other thing you can do in beta Minecraft is you can get to the nether roof, and that's what I'm about to show you here. The only problem with the nether roof in beta Minecraft is that you can't actually place any blocks up there. So it's kind of like bedrock, the bedrock version of the nether where you can't place anything above the nether roof. But here, uh, you still can't. And right here is our way up. So, yep, we have our nether roof here. Can't place anything. Try as you might. I just destroyed my bed by placing it on the nether roof, actually. That's crazy. So there you go. But yeah, this is the nether roof. Can't do anything up here, nothing up here. The machine to actually get onto the nether roof, the redstone contraption to do it, is very, very difficult and convoluted to make. It requires like specifically cyan wool. You have to be the machine has to be built facing the right axis, otherwise it won't work. You have to find a block of bedrock that's at the right coordinates, or not the right coordinates, but like the right Y level. It's just kind of a pain. In future versions, it becomes way simpler to get up to the nether roof. But we do have early access to the nether roof, so we never have to worry about any of those methods again. Now we're going to go back through the nether portal, and I hope I didn't forget anything on this side. I don't believe I did. So I think now we can start making our way towards, I think first we'll talk about the lighthouse. So the lighthouse, this was kind of a random build that I just had I guess a bit of a desire to do. There's not really anything too special about this build. It's just a lighthouse, and it's definitely nothing intricate. It's based off of, I actually don't remember the name of it. There's a lighthouse in North Carolina in the Outer Banks that I based this off of. It's just a black and white lighthouse built in like the 1800s. And I remember while I was making this, I was just talking about how they captured and killed Blackbeard. Like the whole time I was building this, like barely any cuts, I was just talking about the killing of Blackbeard. And that's a really interesting story. So if you want like a random niche history lesson while you're watching me build a lighthouse, go watch the lighthouse episode, because I talk about that. And I mean, it's really not a crazy build. It's literally just snow, black wool, and then some smooth stone, glowstone, and glass up at the top. So yeah, pretty, there was a whole episode for this guy. I do have plans to give him some like boat companions or something at some point, but who knows? I have plans for a lot of things, and some things never come, and other things come very quickly. So now we're coming up on sort of the last thing we've been working on in this world. We have our village. So before we get to that, I want to talk about the failed experiment here. So this was supposed to be one of those things that, Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm yawning on you guys. I'm sorry. I guess I'm boring myself right now. This was one of those machines that, you put your bone meal down, then you just press a button, it will shift all the blocks one way, and then everything on it breaks. Well, turns out in this version, that doesn't work. So even if I had grass and stuff up here, they wouldn't break. You would just see them stay in place and the grass block would move under it. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that. It just doesn't work. And now coming on to the village. So this village is probably the biggest project I've been working on lately. Definitely something I could expand on and probably will expand on as we update. The first couple buildings we built was this one, this one, this one, and the blacksmith here. The blacksmith, I remember I made, I don't remember if I made this part too tall or if I made this part too short, made something wrong, and I had to like destroy the entire top and rebuild it from scratch. That really annoyed me, especially because I had placed the entire roof down on it, which staircases in this version take a really long time to mine. And when you do mine them, they give you one solid block of what they're made of back instead. So instead of giving you the full stair, they just give me one cobblestone if I break those. The next episode after that, we worked on, I want to say maybe that house there and this. I don't exactly remember what the exact timeline of the village is, but this is our bakery. Pretty simple. You know, it has the classic refrigerator that I think everyone has made at some point. And instead of it, our upstairs section is just like a ladder up into here where there's just a living space. Nothing too crazy inside of this. But let's go ahead and take a nap. I'm gonna be honest, with this building here that we're in right now, I like barely remember making this one. I don't know, I must have made it off camera. I know I made a couple houses off camera. It was probably this one, and I know for a fact that that one right there was made off camera. And then in the second episode, I want to say, of this village, we made this building, these tents here, that building way over there, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and of course the castle. So starting out with this building here, we have our bank. Now it's not the most you know, luxurious bank of all time. It's not too crazy. It's pretty basic actually. But if we come down here, we have our completely iron block vault full of gold blocks. Most expensive thing in beta Minecraft. I swear to God, you can't get much better than this. But yep, this is just a bank with a lot of gold in it and a completely solid iron vault underneath. And yeah, just a pretty basic bank. Then of course, we have our markets. This is just a, you know, kind of like a farmer's market kind of deal going on here. Nothing too crazy, just with the tents, with the colored wool drapes over them. Pretty basic stuff here. And then this is definitely my, the castle here is definitely my favorite piece of this whole build, or of the village at least. It's not crazy awesome build or anything, but it's just a castle. And I'm absolutely in love with it. Each one of these towers you can go up into 3 different levels, I guess 3 different levels of walkway, 2 walkways, I guess, probably a better way to describe it. And of course we have the actual castle with, of course, the throne and a nice little spiral staircase here. We come up here, we have not much in this castle, but we have our storage and like crafting room with nothing in it. And we also have the king's quarters where he actually sleeps and stuff like that. I kind of thought about adding windows in it, but I mean, this view sucks, so I didn't. If he really wants a nice view, he can just come up to the top up here and look out from up here, because, you know, it's a lot nicer looking from up here than it is from down there. But yeah, that was like the second episode working on the village, was the castle, the bank, markets, and the ore shop, which we will now go over and talk about, which is going to start wrapping up the video once we get over there. So let's see what we have going on over here. Now the ore shop and the bank were both suggestions by a commenter on a video that I had done right before this one. I want to say, I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I know the guy had like a Shiba Inu on his profile picture, at least whatever kind of dog Doge is. But we come in here, we have our ore shop. This was one of his suggestions. We just have our ores here. You know, they can smelt the ores, do whatever they need to do with these chests and crafting. And then of course you can throw your processed ores back in, or on the flip side, you can throw your ore in and they'll get to work with whatever, right? So pretty simple building here, but I think it kind of helps fill in the space, and you can kind of tell it's like a utility building. I feel it seems, you know, it's kind of off to the side. It doesn't have any windows. Definitely something more meant for work as opposed to, you know, for living. Now right here, we have the miner's dormitory, the only place with a sign over it. We have our kitchen area here for them. Nice little area for them to sit and, you know, play cards if they wanted to, and eat, whatever. Lots of books for them to read. And of course, up here we have a whole bunch of beds with chests for them to store their stuff in and sleep. And of course, a balcony. This balcony kind of came about just because of how the building was shaped. I decided that because I had these two logs framing right here for the door, I decided to just extend it up, put another door up there, and then just add a balcony to it. It just kind of came about randomly, was not in my original image of the build at all. It is definitely the biggest like housing unit in the in the uh in the village, but yeah, I built this. I'm still like, I think it's a little off-putting, but at the same time it's kind of nice. I don't know. And then the last thing we got to show off is the mine, but before that you can kind of see where I've been kind of expanding the dirt over here. I want to say probably 75% of the grass this way, like that way that I'm facing right now, was sand originally. And I've just slowly been replacing it. Over here, you can see a little bit of the dirt that I've been working on. I plan on pushing the grass all the way out to the beach there, but haven't really gotten to that part quite yet. But yeah, there's a lot of sand here. I'm trying to hold off on pushing it back any further because I do have reason to hold off from going this general direction. And I haven't really gone this way at all in the world. So hopefully what I need that ungenerated land for won't be messed up. And last but certainly not least, we have the mine that we worked on literally last episode. Just a mine, you know, it's a mine shaft. It's got our mine carts and all that stuff in here, crafting, smelting, chests for things. I think there's cobblestone. Yep. Nothing wild. We have our mine cart going down and a nice staircase next to it. First level here is just a nice little landing at like Y43, I believe. 46. Y46. We have a lever that changes the direction of the mine carts. Now, these minecart rails here were pissing me off, okay? I could not figure out how to get them to turn the way I wanted because I wanted all of the rails to be on the right side of the like shafts, right? But this thing will only turn the like left and right. So I couldn't get it to go from here, like getting it to go straight and then go that way and straight. So I had to like wrap it and then put the lever here so that I could then change it. And we also have another landing down here. Now this landing is at Y11. And this is where our future diamond mining endeavors are going to occur whenever we do those again. Now, this rail system is just convoluted. Same process here, and then it does it again over here. I decided to make one just kind of a little collapse, says danger, collapse mine, do not enter. Not really much to enter, I guess. So, you know, whatever. And then this is where the proper mine shaft is going to go. More mine carts. And last, but certainly the most important thing on this entire server is Worm. Okay? Worm. Very important that he's here. We love Worm. Worm is great. What a guy. I decided to give him a whole rail around him, because why not? I didn't want multiple mine shafts, just because why not, I guess. But yeah, we have Worm. You can clearly tell it's a worm because he's wiggly. He's wriggly like that. And he's pink. I'm not sure who made worms pink because I've only ever seen brown ones, but that is a worm. Okay? That is a worm. And it even says so on the sign right there. There's a worm. But with that, that actually kind of wraps up the world tour. So I'm looking at the recording right now. Definitely mostly me yapping. So not so much stuff to talk about, but I can go on for hours about the things I have done because I do love this game and I love this world. And most importantly, I love the time I'm spending on YouTube. As I'm wrapping this video up, I just want to say you guys are freaking amazing, by the way, okay? I've said it in other videos before, you know, oh, small channel, oh, this is awesome, you guys are popping off. But it really does mean the world to me. There's a couple of you guys that keep coming back to multiple videos. I see you in like every comment section on every video. It means the world to me. Even if it's just, I would rather have just a couple people watch every single one of my videos rather than having just a ton of people subscribe and Nobody actually watches all of them. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have to watch all my videos, but I really do appreciate the ones of you that have found my channel and have been sticking around with through this series. Because, like I said, I mentioned it earlier in the video. It just kind of started out. I was like, I need to make a Minecraft video because I've been talking about Minecraft this whole opening shift, and I love Minecraft YouTube, and I want to make Minecraft content, and I grew up on it, and here we are. So, yep, definitely wouldn't still be doing this stuff without you guys continuing to come back. And even for the ones who haven't watched this whole series, or if you're picking up here, I still appreciate it that you're, deciding to click on my video and watching it, especially if you're watching it all the way through. Um, most of my videos, most people do not watch them all the way through. They usually click off around a minute mark into it, which is somewhat unfortunate. But again, because the average duration's at a minute and not 0 seconds, that means that there are still a couple of you who are actually watching the video. And I love you guys for that. So I'm going to walk into my room here, and I think I'm going to wrap up this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you made it this far, a double thank you. And as a triple thank you, for those of you who have been here, and for those of you who have watched the whole series, I appreciate you a ton. Maybe that doesn't sound sincere, but I really do. I really do appreciate you guys because, like I said, I wouldn't be doing it if you guys weren't watching it. So, with that being said, once again, my name is Slappy Burger, and I hope you have a blessed evening.